Hello, it's Cosmin. What I wanted to touch upon in this hopefully short video is just some of the small problems that I've had to deal with when creating the game. Uh, so I'll just go straight to it. One of the main problems that I had, well, at least not at the time, one of the main problems that I had was the fact that the player could not initially pass behind. So it would just probably just hit itself right here because I would just activate the collider like in this whole general area. So the way that I went around it was just attach to the static body a short secondary collider which formed the basis of where the player stopped. What happened with this is that I disabled the big collider but I left it so it can be interacted with. So it can be interacted with when the player would click on the object. Because the interactable option is dealt by the physics body, whereas the collider itself is a child of the physics body and it defines its shape. So that is how I got around with walking behind it. As you can see here as well, this area basically I could not move my player, so I just went around and say, okay, let's do something about it, and then I just added like a secondary collider, as mentioned previously, and then disabled the other one, and so on and so forth with all the other objects, managing to quickly solve my problem. Alright. Now, this was one of the stuff that I covered myself. Another one, as far as I can remember, was this, the walls within a room, because initially the room itself was one whole piece, but after getting feedback they said that the walls need to be a bit more seeable. So what I did, I was just going back to Krita, which was the tool that I've used, and then I just raised the opacity, and I was lucky enough to remember to use layering, or else I would have had to redo everything from the ground up. So yeah, I just separate those, save them as different files, and then just attach them. So it was really easy, and this was not done for the enhancement shop. It was done for the final level. This was the most complicated as I had 3 rooms. I needed to do that. I took out the walls, divided them up in whichever pieces they needed to be, and then I just put them as children of the visor node in order to let the player be visible behind it, modify the bit with a Z index to again let the player be visible behind it. So yeah, that was how I did it. I would just change the Y position depending on suiting my needs and how long this would be. But then again, not everything was hackable as the player can still be seen in certain positions. But I tried to go around it by making it in points where it still would seem like it's behind something. So I believe somewhere around this stage, the player is actually drawn in front. No, sorry, it's drawn behind the wall. But that is not so observable just because the player is also behind this wall as well. So that was how I tried to go around the stuff and try to make it seem as seamless as possible and not overly obvious. And some first stuff that I couldn't repair, like this long wall here, I just had to improvise, and in this case I just made it a glass wall and tried to add that idea by having like a bit of a glare here going down. Another thing was texture readability improvements, and I could understand that because I changed towards the pixel art style font, which can have a tendency of being hard to read, but I solved that quite quickly by just going to Arc Basics and then just going into this and then just setting up font. Now the problem with that is that I didn't do a bit more research at the time, and I just went around and did this for the whole scene. And then at the end, when I tried to improve the readability, I could not apply the theme globally because then it would just give me an error, but because of the way that I did things. So my recommendation is, as soon as you know your game, just do your graphic user interface and just apply globally. But then I had to go into each interactable and just change the theme for all of them. Now, another thing that came up as a feedback was the mouse cursor, that this basic one that I'm moving now around would not be enough, so I needed to add a mouse cursor that could be changed. That was my idea initially here. So how it was, I would have another sprite over here which represent the interactable. I tried to make this global, but I couldn't do it the way I wanted it because I needed to reach colliders in certain other scenes, and even if I did it globally, at least at my current level of knowledge, up to my current level of knowledge, there's no way of reaching other colliders and their signals like that. So what I did was a small hack. I just kept this as the general cursor, then I just went through each scene and just another added another panel over here, and this would be hidden unless the player hovers over the collider, in this case of the chest. As soon as he hovers, this signal appears for about 3 seconds, I believe, and then just disappears. Let me show you. There you go. That's it. You can see over here, if I maximize, you can see the new cursor going around, following the old one. And then there you go. That means you can interact with it. Just click and voila. This is the new theme. This helped improve the readability. One of the problems was that clicking outside and this would quit the text box, which is a problem that I'm still trying to sort out with the way that the plugin works, but I'll probably try to sort it out in other projects. I did hack my way around it by making the choices highlightable to reduce the effect. And in the cases like this, I will, according to feedback, put a small button here, which is just a graphical thing, and people need to just click next, and then it would just change. Whereas that button would not have any colliders. It would be more than enough to make the people more than likely just click where they're supposed to in order to change, and that should take their attention away from going around in the scene with the mouse. Other than this, I don't think there's any other major issues that I've faced. So I guess I pretty much covered whatever were the difficulties in creating the game. So I think this will be the last development vlog that I will do, and you are more than free to read the development blogs on my website d-mcdesign.co.uk on the Future Unknown tab with games development blogs. So go there, you can see the development blogs. I will probably post up a link in the game's website as well, and there's also going to be an itch.io where you can play the game in the browser. So try it and let me know what you think.